Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another One Night Cup. I guess qualifier, I guess you could call it, is a better word for it. It's going to be an essentials.tf. I'm going to have to get used to saying that. I am TurboTabs, and joining with me tonight is Cornpop on the microphone. You're hyped, man. You're hyped for this upcoming game to decide who gets to play tonight. Well, at the LAN, even.
Yeah, I'm super excited because this is a really important match for both of these teams. It is No Input versus Deox fan club, and tonight they're fighting for that final spot at the I-61 LAN. So there's a lot on the line here, and it's going to be really great to see how those two teams match up with each other.
Yeah, I am glad to hear it. Now, just to paint everyone a picture, we'll quickly just blast through the rosters because I think they will be alive any second now. So for everyone's ears, if you just pry them open for this moment, we've got Morrow on Medic for the Deox fan club, Joseph on Demoman, Poison on Pocket Soldier, Lukey will be murking tonight instead of Nation for the Roaming Soldier, Scruff on Scout, Deox on his Scout buddy, and quickly going through the No Input while the game is just starting, Martin on Medic, Eames on Demoman, Callum on Pocket, Sush on Roaming Soldier, Adelos on the Scout, and May H on the other Scout.
Alright, here we come. First mid-fight of the game. They're going to be exchanging spam back and forth. Big moment from the soldiers actually on the blue side. They're going to be getting right on the enemy team's backside, but they are actually going down now. That's not great for them. But now Lukey's in on the backside. Does get taken down. And it looks like the blue team has solidly taken control over this middle point, and they're going to be capping this one off. Already we see that Deox are backing off.
I've never seen quite a mid like that, Cornpop. It seemed that everyone on the side of Deox fan club kind of resigned to giving up that mid immediately. Maybe they're not fully confident about going into these mids on further, but keep in mind they did pick this map. So I am curious to see if the confidence just goes a bit better in the next coming rounds.
Yeah, and right now they're both traded one down on each side. Deox is going to get their spawn a little bit faster, so he's going to be coming up onto Scout now. So it's currently 5-on-6, but we'll see if they want to actually make any plays. They gotta go. They have gotten a little bit of time on point, and they lose Deox once again. Eames gets that frag, and we see Poison jumping in. He's gonna just back off, though. Doesn't like what he sees there. Joseph's actually taking a lot of spam. He's being pushed back in the empty concrete. Does die to Shoosh at the end, so no demo man. That's great for the defending team. They're gonna be able to hold on this point for a long time now.
Yeah, a little bit of a question mark, Joseph leaving the combo there and not getting that the heals to survive the frontline spam coming in from No Input. So they will be punished for that, and keep in mind, for every little mistake you make, you will lose just a little bit more time, as they have actually decided to commit the Uber in onto Poison. He's going for that old tried and true Zebasai Uber, but they will respond with their own Uber, but it was milked heavily, and now they're just kind of trying to find the stragglers that have split up all over the map.
Yeah, they haven't gotten a whole lot there. Lukey's going to get shot out of the air. Martin as well dies, and now we see the blue team's all over the point, but Martin going down, of course, was the big frag. The medic did go down in the end. As long as they can keep Morrow alive, this is going to be great for them, but there's a scout there. Does get taken down. Poison with 2 quick frags. Still Morrow's in a lot of danger. Just goes down to the demo man. That is a big pick. Now we see the Ubers are going to even out, and it's going to be a slight ad for Martin as well as soon as he starts healing somebody. So Sush as well in a fight against a couple of players. Probably going to get picked off by, there we go, the sniper takes him out with the SMG.
In the end, they got that medic kill, so I doubt that Deox fan club will hold on to this point for long. They can just get all their respawners up, get them nice and buffed up, and start pushing out these doors. They even decided to rock a sniper over on the side of Deox fan club to kind of resist a little bit of this Uber disadvantage, I should say. I was kind of surprised. I thought, I think Morrow was the first one up during that fight, but she still manages to. Anywho, what's happening in this fight?
Well, Shoosh did a really fast bomb and actually got the frag on the sniper immediately, so that threat was instantly taken out. Now it's a 4-on-4, and we see Scruff's taking a 1v1 against the buff scout. Is going to lose that one. Deox as well has been taking a bit of spam, but they managed to get the frag anyways onto May. So now it's a 3v3 still here on this point. Blue team, No Input, are going to cap this point off now, so they are going to continue counting down with their timer, but the red Uber charge was popped off, and they're still rolling forward. 88% only from Martin. He still has to heal a bit for more before he can get it, but they aren't able to kill that medic in time, and they have more ground at this point. Deox is still trying to flank around, but they're in a great position. As long as Martin doesn't drop here, okay, he pops it off, they should be able to come forward and stop this point and capture.
Very well played from the side of No Input, actually defending and kind of swatting away all the jumpers away from Martin there. They needed that uber critically to hold on to that point, and not only have they kind of wasted all that time that they spent capping it, but they've also taken out a few players here and they're kind of staggering any sort of kind of repush.
Yeah, No Input has been very dominant so far in this match. They only have 10 seconds left on that clock, so here everything has to come out from Deox Fan Club if they want to not lose this very first round, but they're going to lose their soldier very early on here. They do have a lot of time on point, they put people back, but look at Shush, who's actually flanking in from behind, does get the frag on tomorrow, and that's going to be a big one. We'll see, Red Team did cap off that point with 1 second remaining, so we're not in overtime, and that's important, but Scruff's trying to flank it behind. He took a direct really early, but he still needs to get onto these players, and Joseph is fighting in as well, but Callum gets the frag onto both players. Great rockets by him. Now there's only Lukey spawning, and I don't think he's going to be able to get here in time, or if he is, I don't think he's going to be able to kill all these players. TurboTabs, his first round is going to be going in favor of No Input.
Yeah, very, very interesting. I just want to stress the map picks for both of these teams. It was Deox Fan Club that chose this map, so going into it, you'd think they'd have the stronger first step of the two teams, but No Input really living up to their name and providing no input from Deox Fan Club.
Yeah, here we come now, second round so far, and Shushi again and Callum both going to bomb extremely early. They got Moro so low. Moro's going to get the pack and stay alive. Both the soldiers get taken out by poison. Joseph, however, not so lucky, did get bombed down by Idol, and so he got pistol as well. So now it's a 4-on-5, but again, a lot of blue players are bleeding. No input, have to back off, and Martin's in a bad position. He backed right off into Deox, but Deox isn't hitting the shots just again. Does manage to get that frag Eames with the stickies, so no medic now on that side. Moro's going to have a huge advantage as they continue to hold on at this point.
And that was one hell of a snipe coming in from Moro there onto Martin to actually finish off the medic. So very well played from there. They're deciding to go aggressive just to kind of equalise the man advantage. So you can get that pick onto the medic, and the pick they did get after all. So with Martin still alive and somebody coming up in just about a second, they should have this uber advantage raring to go, and it should be a good, like, I'd say about a 15-20%, and I can imagine these teams can make that worth something while.
Yeah, it was a good 5-man sack to get that medic pick, and now they're going to be jumping around. There is a scout hiding in behind, and Deox is looking to equalize these Ubers. He's right behind Martin, got 2 quick shots, and there we see the cleanup from Joseph, finishes off the medic, and Deox is still alive. They're all over this enemy team. Everybody's gone down to only May and Shush. May dies, and Shush, is he going to be able to do anything? A complete ace on the side of No Input.
Not only did Deox get the pick onto Martin there, but he also turned so many heads and soaked up so much ammo and fire that it allowed, I believe it was Joseph, to come in with the big Demo Man bomb and lay down some massive damage for his team and kind of make it almost like a clean swipe in almost like a few bullets there.
Yeah, so sticky trap from Joseph's going to get Shush, and Eames as well is going to die to poison. Watch out for the sniper as well. Lukey is on the field holding that rifle, so he's going to be looking to find some heads. No Input have to play a lot more carefully, and they've been way less dominant this round. They haven't gotten any time on the point, so it's good to see some back and forth from these teams. 100% still from Moro, and only about 70 from Martin, so we'll see what their strat is. It's going to be bombing and Shush again, focusing down that sniper, but a great surf, and everybody's going forward. They do force the uber charge off, and that's a great play by the blue team, but of course they lost a lot of players in that. It's not a big deal because Martin and May got out, and they're going to build that uber charge up to 100, but still a good play by them to be able to get that uber force out there, have an advantage.
You've got to make this push work now. With 3 minutes still left on the clock for them to claw back from, it's going to be a very difficult position and attempt by Deox for No Input to kind of bring back this game.
Yeah, but they had to pop that uber charge off so quickly, and again, Martin backs right into poison. He's gonna go down, and now it's only Callum and Eames trying to do their best. 30 seconds left on that red clock, and of course, ticks down to 0. That is the end of the game. He's gonna bomb the point, but a nice fight from Joseph. He's gonna take down Callum. Moro went down in the back lines, and that was the one kind of silver lining, but I'm not sure it's going to matter, Turbo. There's only 15 seconds left on the point. At this point, they have to just throw their bodies on and hope they can do something with it.
I have not seen many scenarios in TF2 where this has worked out, so they're going to make a Hail Mary of it, and they have got heals on their side, so that's something. And look at all of the meat grinder happening throughout all of this Cornpop. They just being shredded by focus fire of Fan Club there, and it was too tall of an order for them to ask for that round there, so they will give one stray to the enemy team. It's 1-1.
Yeah, and that's kind of the advantage you put yourself in when you know the other team has to push into you. You can play that kind of passively and just let them walk into all your spam, and that's exactly what they did in a very dominating round right back, even more dominating than the first round we saw. So coming to this third round, I have no idea who's going to end up on top of it, but this first mid fight, as we've seen, is going to be extremely important. Who wants to exchange the spam first? Shushi again is going to be bombing. He's done this every mid so far, but he's just going to be getting in behind, and now we see Scout ran forward on the red team, and Martin's really low. There is Lukey on him. Has to back off, and he did a nice surf, so he's going to be okay, but in the back lines now, May is on Morrow as well, trying to jump around and get this frag. Can Deox kill the Scout before he gets the medic frag? No, he cannot. Pistols him down at the end before Deox can get the frag onto May. Meanwhile, Martin did go out, but they have backed off to their spawn, and they're going to give up the point for keeping their med.
Deoxy once more, though, he does kind of throw himself into the call of no input, but he's shut down sadly. And throwing in Lukey to see if he can get that key sort of shot onto Martin. He will pick up that back, and another was thrown into the mix as well. He will lean up, and he's got his Uber now from surviving all of that onslaught, and he can put it to good use.
Martin goes down again, and it seems he's always on low P. He just keeps eating this damage. Now we see the double soldier bomb. They're going, they get the medic. Great jump by the two soldiers, that Callum and Shush. They're going to get that one out. The sniper coming out of Lukey does die to the soldier who was predicting a door. He came out there. Now Deox running forward does just die. Joseph bombs over the point again, trying to get on a Martin. Martin is once again gone pretty low, but this time there's nobody really in a position to take him on. We see Idle has to back off. That was a good play in the end from no input. They're going to end with the point.
Yeah, it seems every time I talk gracefully about one of these teams, it just seems to go so pear-shaped for one of them. Just as Mark by Zuba, he ended up dropping out. It got a bit kind of frantic during all that fight, but it did eventually come out to no input, and now it's their turn to just hold on to them. A little bit, but keep in mind this round has been very low so far. Poison's played the first step forward, and he has to be punished for it.
Yeah, and Shush bombed him behind. He got the super, but he did end up dying for it. Now we see the team coming out of no input. They're just cleaning up these players, and already there's only two players just back off to their spawn. They need to get out of here. Joe's not going to survive, but Morrow is. That's the big one they needed to get out there. He only has 60% now, but that's much better than 0, which would have been at had he died there.
Yeah, it looked a bit poor over on the side of Deox fan club there, kind of lemminging in as one player died at one after the other. Poison will go aggressive with his buddy Lukey, and they will get the force out of Martin, but Morrow is in a possible danger as they will actually manage to back off with their medic for now and keep that built up. They're just waiting for respawners and need to make this supercharge work if they want to bring back this minute disadvantage that they've lost.
Yeah, and that was a great 4-man sack. Exactly did what they needed to do. But now they have to break out of this forward hold, and it's going to be tough for them. Morrow gets a lot of damage put on him early. So does Poison. But they're going to get Shush, who bombed in, and to get that damage down. Now May is hiding in their house, but they're just going to push forward, it seems. Now May's come down on the down man. Deox is there, but does lose that fight, trying to back off in the end. Now all the players are all over, we see on the Deox team. So they're going to lose the down man, and that's a big one. Soldier way up into the air, does end up dying in the end. Poison gets the frag on him, so they're going to actually end up with this point, but big Uber disadvantage now as they didn't manage to get that med pick.
It seems like everyone on this map, Cornpop, is just playing their own little game here, trying to be the hero in their own single player game. I don't see any sort of coordination or linking up with either of these teams, and just seems to be a DM slog right now, and this is working out a little bit more nicely for no input, who seems to just be favouring a little bit strongly. There we go, there's the coordination I've been looking for. A nice little double bomb in and follow up on the scouts of no input. This is some much better TF2 that I was expecting.
Oh, that was a perfect aggressive Uber. They just went forward and killed almost every single player. Lukey, the lone survivor, has to back off to his team, so now they're in spawn. They have to come back out here. Of course, 50 seconds left on the blue clock for no input, 146, and not counting down for Deox fan club. So they need to get on this because they are at a disadvantage in this round, and they are in an uphill battle. So we'll see what they want to do. Again, Lukey's on sniper. He's been playing that class quite a bit, but it's Shush who bombs. No, backing off. Nice to the sniper in the end. The body shot coming out there. No threat, no thank you, he says, as the soldier bomb doesn't earn a kill. So now they're pushing forward, and Martin again so low does get that Uber charge to pop it off, and now they're running forward. There's a soldier in behind, but that's not what they're dealing with right now. The Dome Man does get shot out of the air, and this was a great Uber charge from them. The sniper's gonna get out, and there is still that player in behind. They gotta look out for Poison, but Poison on solo HP. I don't think he's gonna be able to do anything. Dies to Shush, and that was a great job by the blue team to secure this point and not let it get capped.
Bit of a miscalculation coming out from the Deox fan club there. They didn't keep note that the Ubers were slightly in favour of no input there, and they committed their medic in a little bit too deeply, as they are trying to equalise things out by just kind of throwing themselves against the wall there. But the little skirmishes, the little team fights are just slightly favouring no input now, and suddenly got a actually there is a little bit of slapback from Deox fan club, and the Yak will kind of keep himself alive. Morrow kind of throwing all the heals into the Yak basket, but now you've got all these respawners from the respawn advantage of no input, and they're just going to claim this round back up, and there you go, 2-1 on the board.
Yeah, it was a good job by Deox fan club to cap the point, but they weren't actually winning the fights. They were pushing them back, but then they lost too many players in the midst of that, and input, once they had sort of readied themselves, they were able to come back out and take this point off of them. So now they're going to be coming out to the, what's this, 4th mid fight over here on Vital. It's 2-1 now from no input. They're going to be trying to spam down on this enemy team. Take them down, looking for some early frags. Nobody down just yet, but again, it is Callum who's bombing into the enemy team's concrete. Poison as well jumps, gets some damage on the demo, but hits a nice direct onto Idol. That's gonna be good. Another direct takes down Poison with that pipe, and now we see Lukey is fighting on the enemy team's grasp very low, and that was a big bomb by Shush actually from behind, but Deox was able to turn around and get him. So May and Martin, the sole survivors on the side of no input, they're gonna run away from that mid.
Nice flank coordination coming in from Deox fan club there. They favoured big, just counter-initiated against Susha's initial jump and decided to kind of delay or kind of screw with the flank a little bit, and then kind of switched over against the Demo Man. The focus fire was just a little bit better, and a bit of play coming out from Lukey there to kind of keep things alive and keep them distracted from actually turning around that fight in the end, as we got another double soldier bomb coming in from the Deox fan club, but it isn't quite as good as the previous fighters. They will pop the Uber off now, but keep in mind Martin has his, and he will milk it a little bit and then pop it off. He's trying to find the Deox kill, and I think they'll find the medic kill instead. He's just kind of landed in front of in their lap, but Deox is there in time to just protect Morrow for now, but they do give up a point for that.
That was some great protection. He was just eating shots, Deox was, to save his medic, and they both end up staying alive. So great coordination between the scout and medic pair there. They're going to be able to keep the med alive and keep Ubers relatively even here. So that's going to be really important, especially because they still have that time advantage. I mean, it's ticking down for no input, but they don't hate their position right now. Soldiers actually collide mid-air, and they're going to shoot each other, the scouts, and get both those frags. So two down on the red side now, still only one. There's a bomb coming in. They're all looking for Martin. Does just get at the end. Yak with a crazy pipe manages to get that frag right after he dies even. So that was a big one. Now Morrow has huge Uber advantage, TurboTabs.
I'm not too sure about that decision to go for the medic there. Usually those sort of bombs are very risky. I mean, it's one thing to just kind of force the medic, but it's another to kind of get the pick onto him there, and all it kind of does is delay a little bit more time where they could have just maybe got a pick onto some of these damage classes instead. They will actually get the drop on tomorrow there. This has been a complete disaster for Deox fan club now. Now they just have to kind of do this delta split and just find any sort of frags, but I expect some of these Martin heals to kind of start kicking in, and maybe they can retake some of these fights. They just need to fight as a big blob, and that's what they're doing. Look at that blob there, Cornpop. It is eating up Poison so far, and it's scared off the rest of Deox and his fan club. He will actually go down for the cause, but bad news bears for Deox fan club. Oh, Yak even gets destroyed as well.
Yeah, he got annihilated, air shot into there and taken down by the scout. Idol's been going on a huge rampage so far. He's got a 6K at the moment, so that's great from him. Now they are still looking to hold this point, it seems. 1.5 minutes on their clock, 1:50, so they now have this time advantage, and Deox is up on Spy. I believe that is real too, so he is walking out of spawn with it. So this is the play, this is what they need to get back into the game. The question is it going to work?
Man, that's the worst kind of scenario. That it really kind of throws your game out of flux, where you've kind of thrown in another suicide attempt. They do force the medic off this time, and only really with 2 soldiers, actually no, soldier and a demo man there. They kind of throw in some extra people, just see if they can get some bonus picks. Why not? But they will lose everybody. But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. Everybody's going to be up for this Uber, and Morrow's got his ready, raring to go. But they just need to be careful about being forced at these doors.
And Shush was so patient waiting behind Lukey. I think he was looking for a juicier target, but settles for that soldier frag. Poison in a lot of trouble now as well. Shush right above him, does get the nice frag there, so 2-man advantage already, but they gotta look out for this Uber charge that has been popped off, but Martin's pretty far back, and they say that Deox is right on top of him. Now can they kill Deox before he gets the medic frag? Just barely. Made's able to get that frag in the end, and on the other side of the map, I didn't even see it. Idol was able to take down Morrow.
Man, that Uber went absolutely dreadful. They lost 2 soldiers at the very start of the fight. They dropped a player during the popping of the Uber, and they left the one player behind who could maybe do something with the Uber to kind of maybe be greedy and back out the medic. But at that point, you should need to look at yourself where you are on the map and realise that you're probably going to die after that Uber.
Yeah, and now this is all on the line, but it doesn't matter. They can't get it at all. There's an Uber charge on the defending side, so 3-1 is the score for no input. Usually just coming out in chat. So is that the end of the first map?
Yep, that is the end of the first map. We play to the first of 3 here over in Euroland, so it might be a little bit surprising for you. But yeah, read 'em and weep. 3-1 goes to no input.
All right. Well, I believe our second map is Process. And do you know off the top of your head which team chose that one?
So first map was chosen by Deox, and the second map, therefore, was picked by no input. So it's not looking good for the Deox fan club to say that they lost their first map that they chose. You know, the one they're most confident in out of all the other maps that were available. So no input going into Process as well. I'd imagine that they might make a comfortable sweep out of this, but who knows? Maybe when they've got nothing to lose over on the side of Deox fan club, they might just be able to make that one little last match count, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they have to win 2 in a row if they want to continue making it in this tournament, if they want to get to I-61 and fight in that invite bracket. From what I see, we have stats on stream, TurboTabs, so I don't know if you want to look over those a little bit, but it seems your top fragger in the server was Idol. I totally believe that. He was going on some big kill streaks, 25 frags from him, very nice, and 337 damage as well, very good, but Eames, look at that, 423.
Yeah, it seems like the scouts were just head and shoulders over the Deox fan club. Deox and Scruff not really finding the right impact compared to May and Idol, but I think it might be more of a story of just when it comes to just making space on both of these teams. Cornpop, this is the sort of thing. It's very difficult to look into the stats, but I felt that there was no real space being made by anybody on the Deox fan club. Maybe somebody was kind of pressing a little bit forward, but nobody was getting behind. Nobody was kind of making that initial jump in. You know, drawing some eyes, drawing some fire. It seems like everyone was just walking slowly, taking all the damage until somebody walked a little bit too far out of position for Deox fan club, and they got minced. And then from there, the player advantage just kind of kicked in. And I guess when the player advantage kind of kicks in, the scouts kind of reap the benefits, as you can see on some of these stats here.
Yeah, and I want to point out the med deaths. It is 11-7, which isn't the biggest gap I've ever seen, but still, Morrow was dying significantly more than Martin, and I think that just comes down to the soldier bombs that were constantly on top of him. I mean, every time I looked at his health, it seemed like he was around half or lower, so him dying the whole time just seemed like a big problem for them.
I feel like the biggest discrepancy between both of these teams would be probably the difference in Demomen. Yak's deaths compares to Eames' deaths. It's a good 9 deaths ahead of one another, and usually you need that Demoman. He's so important on Product. He's kind of the deciding factor on who you're going to focus in these initial fights when it comes to pushing over the point on Product. So if your Demoman is just staying alive, laying in a lot more damage for your team compared to the other one, usually the rest of your squad can kind of pick up on that and kind of play off it a lot easier.
Yeah, it was a good match overall. I think from no input, they really showed they were the better team. But I want to say that that one round they lost was extremely dominant for the other guys. I mean, Deox fan club played well when they had the point, because that one match, the one round they won the mid fight, and then they just never lost it. I don't think in that one round, no input got any time onto the point. So that's promising to see. If they're gonna come into the second map on process, if they want to continue to have a chance, it's good to see they have something in them that is proving they can beat this team, at least in some points.
Yeah, it could be the factor that maybe no input are the slightly better defensive team in the way that usually on Pro Tour, just by the fact that if you're losing a little bit, the kind of gimmick to the map is you will get a slight advantage inherently from losing, just from that respawn advantage, so you can kind of play off a little bit better there. And usually when over on the back foot of Deox fan club, they couldn't really claw their way back into the game as well as no input could. So when it was these back and forth like fights, it seemed it just went a little bit better from no input. It just seemed a lot more better coordinated effort when it came for these repushes in.
Yeah, and as we want to just mention again, because being asked in chat, the winner of this will move on to the invite bracket at I-61, so they'll get a straight pass to that. The loser, if they still choose to go to I-61, can still work their way up through the open bracket, I believe, but obviously that's a much more difficult task at hand, so getting that free pass to the invite bracket is a really big deal, and so these teams are going to be playing as hard as they can on this next map process.
Yeah, the difference between the open bracket and the invite bracket is after the group stages, everyone in the invite brackets is still in the initial playoff, whilst there's only a few of those open spots going. So, I mean, if you have a bad day on LAN, it's going to be a lot more punishing over in that open bracket than it is going to be in that invite bracket. And plus, you get to be casted by such names like Cornpop and TurboTabs. Why would you not want to be in the invite bracket?
Oh, exactly. I mean, the invite bracket's where all the excitement happens. That's where you get on stream. That's where everybody's yelling your name.
That's where you get the TF2 groupies coming up to your desk, you know, just saying like, oh, please sign my everything.
And especially with, like, the lower teams often get a lot of support, you know, because everybody loves to cheer for the underdogs, obviously. So it can be a big deal just for the fame and stuff if you're a low team who manages to just pull off some sort of crazy upset, even if it's not against, like, a super great team like Seven or something. You know, even taking some maps off of Nunya or Antic, like, that can be a big deal.
Exactly. It also kind of sets up your future TF2 career in a strange way. I mean, when you're playing against these names like Cadus and, you know, AMS and whatnot, they're probably going to keep an eye on you when they're playing against you in these LAN games. Who knows? They might even start picking you up for these future teams, getting your name out there into these the high bracket tier, I guess, Illuminati, you could almost call them, where they just caught their attention. You can start kind of getting your foot in the door of the top tier TF2 bracket.
Yeah, so a lot of advantages if you do win here tonight. Not the end of the road if you lose, not absolutely everything on the line, but still quite a bit here.
All right, so we will be going into process now. What do you reckon to process, Cornpop? Do you like it? You love it? Hate it?
I like it a lot, actually. It's one of my favorite maps to watch, just because how fluid it seems to be. They always seem to be a lot of movement. You don't see a ton of stalemates on this map, which is what I like to see personally. So there can be a little bit mid to second or even second to last, but I think it's got good variety. I like that it's a different color, too. A lot of the maps are kind of brown. Process is nice white. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of everything for everybody there. Ooh, I thought they were starting off there, but kind of a little bit of a debate there. But they are just kind of filing off a few details before they will start. But yeah, it's got a little bit for everybody. You've got the Demomen's got the nice little fast rollouts that they can do. They can make a lot of impact if they get their rollouts done correctly on this map, which is always nice to see. But also the Roma can do some funny little shenanigans as well. The Scouts, I feel like, can be quite comfortable on this map. I don't think anybody's having a bad time when they're playing process.
No, it's generally a universally loved map, but I think we are going live here, TurboTabs. So
all right.
This is map 2 of No Input versus Deox Fan Club. Winner will make that invite bracket. Of course, No Input won that first map. So here we see two soldiers actually bombed immediately onto each other. Shushi was the loser in that health battle, it seemed. He has to back off and get some health from his medic, gets that arrow finally. Yak as well went down pretty early, but he is still alive, and that's important. Poison jumping onto Callum as well. Now, there is Deox up behind him. Watch out for that one, and now we see the first scout goes down. It is May. Deox dies as well to Eames, and the soldiers are all over the place. They are going to trade in the end there, but it seems like the red team has the better advantage of this frag so far. They're all backing off the second, and I think as long as they can keep Morrow alive, this isn't death's door for them. Ooh, they lost Delman and their scout, and now Shush is on the medic, gets the frag.
Oh, man. We talked about no input kind of showing off a little bit more defensive prowess than Deox fan club. And you can kind of see it on the start of that mid-fight there. They had a lot of damage laid into Yak at the start, and I thought, Yak is dead. They've got to be going aggressive on that demo man. But no, they stuck to their guns. They decided to just beat this huge giant wall, let them play into them, and from there the dominoes just started falling, and Idol just kind of picking up those final couple of classes that were trying to back out of that chokeway, but Process is a big map, Cornpop. It's difficult to run away on.
It can be, yeah, and Lukey's up on Sniper to try to defend from this incoming push. They do have big Uber advantage, and Deox is just going to be spawning now. So here they come already. There is level 3 gun, but it goes down extremely early. Eames managed to get that, and they got so much time on a point already. They have to collapse in on it, and they've lost 3 players because of it. This is not ideal for them. Martin's kind of alone, but it doesn't matter at all. They're all over the point, TurboTabs, and they're going to take this 1-0 pretty early.
I mean, it just says 1-0 on the score, but maybe in the minds of some of these players it might seem like a bigger number. I mean, you got trashed on your own map that you picked, and now the first round has already happened in less than 3 minutes, kicking off from the start of it. It's got to be feeling pretty bad for some of these players on Deox fan club.
Yeah, and they didn't have any resistance, it seemed, last time. They got completely pushed back. So this second mid, they got to change some stuff up. Yak's going extremely low really early. He's being bombed up, but he ate an arrow, and now Maro's in some trouble. Callum's onto him, and he's going to trade for that, but that's a frag he'll take every day of the week. Silver Lion, they did get the enemy team's medic as well, so that is both medics down on both sides. It's a 2v2 right now on the middle point, but Eames is kind of out of it, and Shush is very low, gets picked up by Deox, and I think Eames, well, he can't even back off. He's on the wrong side of the midpoint here. I don't think he's got much hope for him unless he can get some miracle pipes. TurboTabs, no.
Nope. I mean, it's TF2 rulebook, a good 40-second passes in the mid, and if you've got a scout up, yeah, usually the team with the most scouts up are the ones that are going to kind of dictate the end of that mid, and with Deox still running around, being alive, he was able to kind of claw back that mid for his team, so good prioritization by Deox to just kind of keep himself alive during all that chaos and winning it out for his team there.
And they've run very far in. We see the Deox fan club have already on to second. They got the frag on a Shush, Deox did, and that's going to be nice. Scruff took a lot of damage, but Calm going to go down as well. So now no soldiers on that side, and Deox dies in the end, but I think they're just going to get this point, Turbo.
I mean, they lost some players here and there, but all they did was push out no input from actually making a comeback into that Process map, and it's very difficult to kind of re-enter the fight on the map like Process. Everything just seems to be just off by these tiny little doors that are easy to be cut off by Yak. So they won't give up second for now, and both these two teams do have Uber kicking on in each side, but I don't think nothing's going to happen right now. They're just going to weigh their options and see what they can come up with. Oh, what the hell is going on?
Goes through the player. Deox takes his first shot and manages to get the demo man. So that's actually a really big pick. With no demo in the field, you can totally make some space and push in last. Now, the red Ubercharge actually has to get popped off first as they're pushing forward into this IT area. Morrow finally going to pop it off just as the red one is ending. So this is a much better Ubercharge, but they haven't really got a whole lot. They got the medic and they got Shush as well, but they lost their own soldier for it. I think the play here, they're still kind of not in on last. They might even just decide to build this Ubercharge back up if they don't want to go with the heal advantage, Turbo.
Very strange if they make that decision. They decide to go with the heal advantage. Very wise coming in from Deox fan club, and they already got time on this point. There's nobody really there to block it, and they will just cap it out outright before no input get any input on that defense. It's 1-1. A quick slap back from Deox fan club there.
And Deox needed that really, really badly here. I mean, seemingly they were low on morale. they would have good reason to be, but getting that first round, that can shift the momentum, and we've seen these mids have been extremely important. We haven't seen a whole lot of resistance from the team that loses these mids yet, so big bomb by Lukey actually trying to get onto Eames, but decides to back off. Doesn't want to take that fight anymore, so we'll see how this one ends up going. Shush as well gets aggressive, but he's going to go down for Callum as well. Now we see Lukey's bombing in onto Martin. Martin's way up into the air. Can he survive? No, it's not going to happen. Lukey jumps away with that frag, backing all the way off. May is in behind now, wants to get this medic frag, but Moro's still fairly healthy. He's got 3 players in front of him. He's fine.
It looks a little strange. I thought by position alone, it looked like no input had the mid there. They had the high ground against them. Everyone was nicely bunched up over on the side of Deox fan club, but Yak being the tide turner there, getting some key damage, and Stray Rocket must have hit, I believe, poison here and there, kind of allows the floodgates to be open, and they can just unleash themselves onto no input and push them all the way back to their last tier.
And they're going to have 100% Ubercharge pushing in. Martin only at about 30 right now, so he's not going to get his unless they wait forever, which they absolutely won't do. So this is going to be a big Uber advantage push as they're ready to go in. There is an engineer and a heavy they got to look out for, but they're going to pop it off now, and they're going to try to deal some damage. It is level 3 gun, so it's been built up quite nicely, and they lose 2 players, both their soldiers going down, and the Ubercharge is over. A disastrous push TurboTabs. They have to back off, and they didn't get anything.
It's the old rock, paper, scissors format, Cornpop. When you throw a soldier into a heavy weapons guy like that, and he's got the high ground as well, it's very difficult for a soldier to have any input onto that heavy weapons guy. Usually kind of looking towards your demo men to make those sort of jumps onto process, because it's very predictable to have a heavy weapons guy positioned there. But back to the drawing board for Deox fan club, as they will be punished all the way to mid, and they've actually popped in the Uber to kind of just get some of these players into the fight. That was a very early pop going in there, maybe scared of the sniper of Lukey, but I don't know, a bit of a questionable pop in my eyes there, Cornpop.
Yeah, it was strange. They got the demo map for it, but otherwise really nothing other than just the points. So now Moro's going to have a huge Ubercharge advantage, about 50%, assuming building stays the same. And their demo man is just going to be spawning now, so with this advantage, they will be able to push into the point. It is whittled down to a 40, and the demo man's a little slow getting to the second point, so if they stall out long enough, they might actually have this Ubercharge, and they're waiting a long time to go with this turbo. They're still just waddling in. It's already 90% from Martin, and Shush is going to try to get this, but what a shot from Poison. Air-shotting that soldier so Moro doesn't have to pop. It is now even Ubercharges, but they have that one pick advantage, and that's all the advantages they have so far, so they gotta look out. But another nice rocket. Lukey's gonna take out Idle, and with that, I think Input are just ready to run away. They lost Callum, who was going for anything he could get, but despite having the Ubercharge, they're not gonna take this fight.
They still have Uber during all of that. Oh, this is disastrous, Cornpop. Now they can just use this Uber to fight and take the second as well. But with the nature of second, they probably can just take it without the Uber. So I assume this Uber could be used for last. And I mean, sure, Martin has his now, but at what cost? They've given up 2 points back to the enemy team, and yeah, there was just no real pressure on Tomorrow apart from that initial bombing at the start.
And it all goes down to that big misplay on middle. They need to either fight that like 6v5 or back off and not lose players to get rolled straight in onto last. But I guess they were unsure of themselves, TurboTabs, and now they're defending their own last point. There's no real advantage, so we probably won't see the push come in too quickly unless they're just feeling good about this. I mean, they did lose that first map, but they won the last round, so they could be feeling good on this map. It's kind of weird how they're actually playing better on the other team's map picks.
Yeah, usually you kind of go for the King of the Hill map when you're not feeling too good about that classic TF2 gameplay, that 5CP. Usually the more highly coordinated, the well-strung teams are kind of well-versed in those sort of game modes, while King of the Hill, it's more of a wildcard choice. So maybe they didn't have quite the belief that they had it in them, but here they are, 1-1, tied apiece with 20 minutes left, so you could still bring this back. And with the next map being Gully Wash as well, if this 5CP map goes well for them, maybe there's good chance for them to do well in the next map.
Yeah, and Lukey's up on Sniper, so this is the play that they're going to try to get into last with. He misses that shot, so no luck there, but he didn't die, so he's going to be fine to look in once again. He's in through rollout now, and he's looking pretty aggressively, but gets hit with some spam, and he has to back off.
He is not feeling very Luke-y when he's like poking around in these doorways, meeting a pipe and a rocket in every which way. The guy just cannot catch a break. He can't even get a sightline onto a red player, let alone the medic.
Yeah, now he's going in through this right side. The medic is there, but he's behind that wall. I think he had a body shot there on Eames, but not enough to get the kill. So still looking for something. Oh, he's poking around. He sees the scout there, but he hasn't managed to hit any of the crazy shots that he needs to open it up for his team. But at least he's getting some shots, and there he is finally landing a frag.
Yeah, this opens up the flank a little bit over on no input, so Deox fan club can kind of throw some players, abuse this flank side. I mean, it is held by this one soldier, but usually if you just stack a few more players up, we've got a bit of an Uber exchange happening in rollout whilst I'm busy looking at the flank, and they're just kind of rubbing up against each other, doing the Uber versus Uber dance and then backing out. All is well for both of these teams. They back out, start rebuilding, and just allowing Lukey to take more pot shots.
Yeah, the flanks were all the actions happening. Deox takes down Shush, and now once again they have that pick advantage, and they're able to get some space on the right-hand side. They're pushing in pretty aggressively. We see Scruff's all the way up, and he's behind the enemy team at this point. And look at that snipe onto Martin. That is a game changer. Now they just need to stand on this point. They've gotten so much time, and Idle can't kill 5 players. TurboTabs, they're going to go up 2-1 in this map.
Dreadful position coming out from Martin there. He just kind of took a trip to the corner and is like, you know what, I want to stand here, but he's got like no room to play with, and what happens is no input, have no heals to get, because there's just this huge sniper drawing a line on the map, dividing up that last point between the medic and his patients. So they just kind of eventually die down to the sheer spam, as well as just losing a Martin pick at the end of it.
Eames rolls out to the right side of this mid fight, so nobody getting those packs right off the bat. Shush is taking a lot of damage to the enemy team's IT, though. He's going to have to back off there and come back in the fight later, but a nice double bomb takes down Callum really early, and now Scruff's extremely low as well, but Lukey and May both going to end up going down, so it's a 4-on-4 at the moment, and Deox is in on the enemy team's combo, but Moro going down is the big one to Shush. He came back in after he ran away into IT. Yak, last player alive on it. Oh, no, second last player alive on a scene. Poison jumping in at this point. And he's not healthy. He's going to get taken down by the scout.
Man, thank God Susha's bomb played off there. There was this huge flank of Cornpop going all the way from the enemy computer room, walking all the way around, well, jumping all the way around, and he eventually got that Morrow kill. And if he didn't get that, it looked like it would have gone the way of Deox fan club, but no input managed to keep their medic alive, and the enemy team didn't. Usually that kind of writes off the Uber, the mid, once that fight gets a little bit into the late stages of the mid fight, so they will pay dearly for that, and they're pushed all the way back to last, and they've got the sentry gun up, they've got the heavy weapons guy up. It's worked once before, can it work again?
They're popping in now, going to this left side. Once again, they throw both their soldiers at the heavy. Deox does die this time, so much better than last time. The sentry gun's in the same position it was before, and it's getting healed back up by the engineer, but the engineer is going to go down, and now there's a lot of fights happening all over the map. It's a 4v4, and Martin going down is a big one. Morrow surfing around, trying to stay alive for this post-Uber, but it doesn't matter because they're on the point, and they're going to cap this one off, tying it at 2. We have a real close game here, Turbo.
Oh, Cornpop, they're just changing things on the fly. You know, where we talked about, including that demo man in the Uber against the heavy weapons guy, and it's almost black and white how much that demo man was doing, much more than the soldier earlier. I think actually it was the other team. Yak was the one that wasn't included in the last one. But yeah, just goes to show, Ubering that demo man in on Process Last does wonders for the push.
Exactly, that was really dominating by them. So now we'll see if they can carry into this map. Shushi actually takes a lot of early damage. He is going to be the first one going down to Deox, so great job there. But now we see the counter spam actually coming down, and all of the red players are going down. There's 3 up on their team, and they have to back off. They just ate a whole bunch of damage there, and already they're having to sit back on second. Might even get forced back to last, depending on how these respawns play out.
I know, maybe it might be a bit greedy of me saying, but I feel like no input could have maybe took the fight there. I mean, there was a little bit bunching up. They had a demo man, they had a scout, and I feel like they were pretty decently healed whilst they made that first aggressive play over onto the side of Deox fan club. But these teams, it's very difficult to tell in the just doing all the fighting inbound. It's very easy for me to diagnose these things. I've got wall hacks, I've got health bars, so maybe just by playing strong on the side of Deox Fan Club was enough to win that mid there.
And it's not a bad thing to play passive, especially in such a close match. I mean, it's tied 2-2, no input. They did win that first map, so it's not super stressful for them. But right now, Lukey's up on that sniper class, and he's going to be looking to make something for his team. Soldier jumped past his sightline, but he didn't hit that shot.
I mean, they've got Idol coming back as the sniper himself, so I like this play. Even if you don't really feel as confident as on sniper as you do as the enemy sniper, you still feel a great pressure over on the other side of things, because it just stops you from just being carefree and playing about, and just, you know, you can still be punished by someone that's not as good as a sniper, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, Yak did a big bomb in there, and he didn't get anything, but he made some space for his team, and they were able to follow up on the soldier frag. Really, I don't think anything's going to come out of it. We still have a sniper on each side, and it's a 5-on-5 right now, but no Demo Man for a little bit on that blue team. He's just going to be respawning now, so we can see No Input getting a little more aggressive, be playing a little more loose with this game, but they're going to have to go back to the normal gameplay now. We still see, I mean, Idol is right up in that choke. He wants to get aggressive, you can tell, but he is going to eat some spam, and he has to back off. He can't stand there forever.
Yeah, and he also needs to keep in mind Lukey is gunning for him as well. Yeah. Literally, he needs to find the sniper and kind of play around where he can poke his head out as well. And Lukey needs to do the same. It's almost like a nice little game within a game there. Oh, he actually finds the pick onto Callum, Lukey, and with that opening pick, it does open the avenue for Deox Fan Club just a little bit. I mean, they have got a player down, so maybe they don't want to risk it, but usually a scout's going to get back to the fight a lot quicker than a soldier will, so...
Well, Poison's considering it, but he's going to sit back in the sewers. It was Shushu, though, came in and tried to do something, but he's going to just die. Deox takes him down with that scattergun, so now Lukey gets aggressive and pokes into this left side. He's looking for some frags, but he isn't getting them. Scruff's coming up onto Spy now, so if this is real, yeah, they're going to have double off class.
Yeah, but actually get the pick onto the Demo Man there. That's a huge pick for no input there, but this is kind of plays into Scruff's game plan a little bit. I mean, while you're pushing, you're not busy looking behind you, and I think Martin's going to feel the rough end of a knife here, and then there goes the stab, the drop. He even tries to get a bonus kill onto the Demo Man, but it won't come up trumps, as I think Morrow has kept himself alive, so they just need to push this out, use the Uber kind of, you know, ambitiously in a way, like, kind of, don't hold on to it for too long, just get players in there, I reckon, and just get the second point under wraps.
Yeah, Yak dies again to the sniper. That's the second time, but we see that does open up an opportunity for Lukey to get the counter snipe onto Idol. So with that, the sniper can do a lot more. He doesn't have to be afraid of that counter snipe threat. But now we're going to see Shush bomb in onto the medic, and it does force that Uber charge off. Still not dead. Shush, please die. There's a scout. Deox just finally now getting the frag with his pistol, but he took a really long time to die, and Martin was extremely low there. Actually, he is going to be just backing off into spawn, so he's fine, but wow, unfortunate Morrow got forced.
Man, no input must have taken a lot of group damage there. It looked like, you know, when you get a force like that, and things were kind of going a bit sporadic, you feel like the enemy kind of play off that and just almost like off the heels alone from all that faffing about, but no, they just decided to give up second anyway. It's almost, I mean, it's what they wanted, trade an Uber for a point. The objective of the Uber in the end.
Yeah, Martin has a bit of an advantage here, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. It's not really big enough to safely push off. It's about 15.
Nah, there's no way.
No. It was bigger, but I think Blue Team's done a good job of building, so definitely not. And if they were counting that wrong, that would have been problematic too. But Lukey and Idol still both on sniper, so Idol getting a little aggressive actually, but he's going to see Poison and have to back off. So we're still just watching these snipers, waiting for somebody to get a pick, and it's Lukey. Oh my god, so aggressive. Backs off though, and he doesn't get punished for it.
Man, I'm watching these snipers so closely, Cornpop, that there's so much other skirmishes happening between these two teams that the snipers just aren't coming trumps for either of these teams. It's just all the little skirmishes that are really making the way forwards for any of these teams right now.
Yeah, we just saw both soldiers down, and still 15 seconds on Shush's respawn, so really, if they wanted to, the Deox fan club could do some sort of a sack again, but I don't think they're going to, as it's already down to 5, so I think they're going to continue relying on their sniper. Lukey's been playing pretty good. He's gotten a couple of snipes in this match, and he gets another one onto Shush, so I think he was maybe just coming up off that respawn. Unfortunate for him there, but he's going to be sent right back into it, and now that's not really anything they can push off, but he's gotten, oh my god, so aggressive on a Martin. Idle dies at the exact same time, and that's just what I was about to say. He's opened up some space for himself, a huge rocket coming out from Poison to take down Eames, and they're going to cap that one off. TurboTabs, that is now 3-0 on the side of Deox fan club.
I mean, you see the disadvantage of your roaming soldier playing the sniping role instead of a scout, for example. I mean, he's much better at holding those doors closely than a scout would, and I feel like if they had that extra soldier, the sniper wouldn't be able to bring out some of these plays that he's been doing, Cornpop.
Yeah, Yak's taking a lot of early damage on this mid fight. The enemy team demo did run right again, Eames, to get some extra damage onto him, but he's being healed up right now, so no frags just yet. As I say, that Poison's gonna jump in and eat some stickies for it, so only frag just now, and we see May as well, right in front of the medic as well. Martin so low, does end up dying to May, who just ran in, and oh my god, everybody just died. An ace coming in favor of no input.
Yeah, it looks like they decided to stay on their side of the map a lot longer than No Input did. They were already kind of, you could see May H was kind of sneaking across the midpoint in a way, kind of using the building to hide and then spring himself onto Morrow. And from there, while they were trying to pick up the pieces of this aggressive move, they just got kind of folded on by the rest of No Input and laid waste to them on that mid. And they've Ubered in onto this last point. It looks easy peasy from here on out, and a quick response coming out from No Input there, Cornpop.
Yeah, I mean, after that dominating mid, it was basically their round to lose, and they sure didn't lose it. They had a really dominating push in the last, and I mean, when you're invincible and the team isn't, it's a nice easy push in there. But you know, still good on them. They didn't mess it up, which is always nice. Coming to the next mid fight here. Yak's taking a bit of damage once again. He seems to always be doing that, but he gets his pack, so he's fine. Shush spamming down onto him. He's pretty low. Nobody down just yet. It's going to be Poison once again, who bombs aggressively. We'll see if it works out better for him this time. He's trying to get some damage, but the scouts are going to pick him off. Lukey and Cal are both going to end up going down as well at the same time. So no soldiers on the side of Deox fan club, and they're having to back off to their second.
I mean, the difference maker there, No Input threw in one soldier, kind of beefed it a little bit, and Deox fan club threw in two soldiers there, kind of beefed it. So player advantage kind of plays off on there, and they win the mid fight. But, I mean, with such a small discrepancy between both of these teams, it does allow them to just lose only just the 1 point. So things kind of just even off there, and it does allow Lukey to come back as sniper again, and it has been kind of been his go-to class throughout the entire game, so he must feel very confident about this being the game-winning choice for them. They will get the pick onto Sush, who was just kind of hoping for a... Oh, was that a headshot I just heard ringing out by Lukey there? He's still poking out.
I think it was on to a buff scout, so he's going to heal back up, but Scruff's in a position to run straight out of IT. He's got some guys looking at him, so he has to back off, and he actually loses the 1v1. Idle hits too many shots onto him, so now they're down a player, and this could be dangerous for them if they send some people in. Just considering Lukey's on sniper, there's only really Deox to protect their medic if any sort of a bomb comes in. But they are walking in this left side. There is a scout in Al-Qaeda as well. But Poison jumps and tries to get him out of there. Shush is in IT, taking a 1v1 with Deox, which he's about tied on HP with him there. I think we have a pause though, TurboTabs.
I can agree to this pause. It is happening. But yeah, it's just drawing myself to this sniper again. I keep thinking, when is enough? When do you feel like you need to come off the sniper? I feel like they're kind of pooling everything into this sniper basket here over on Deox fan club, and it hasn't. Maybe I've just been spoiled by some of the higher end levels, but you know, usually you kind of see snipers constantly ringing out these headshots, constantly doing the huge pressure or huge amounts of work, and I'm just not really feeling it from Lukey right now. Where do you draw on the line, Cornpop? Where do you say like enough is enough?
Yeah, and that's kind of the question you always got to be asking yourself. I mean, he has made some big plays on the class, but He certainly hasn't been extremely consistent with it, and that might come back to bite them. We'll have to see here, but I don't know. I think he's fine still staying on it, at least for a little while. This isn't a terrible position to have a sniper on, but the problem is it's kind of on the enemy team more to make a move. So this sniper, maybe he's more of a defensive sniper, maybe just trying to make it harder for the enemy team to poke in onto you, because at this point, you're on the back foot. You don't really need to make a move if you're the Deox fan club, guys. A sniper, I think I would prefer a scout in this position just because you have more of a defensive setup with him, but it's not a bad decision. I guess we'll have to see after this pause because we have STV delay, do we not?
I believe so, yes. So this isn't the exact point in the game that the pause will come out, and you'll probably see it in a little bit in the future. And I guess you could almost use this as a spoiler effect because usually these pauses come out after a round kicks in. So one of these teams could have potentially kind of sailed it all the way to the last point and then paused. So,
well, the other reason for pausing that scene is sometimes as a player might have crashed and gotten out of the server, which would be devastating depending on who it is and what the timing is. Okay, so we're hearing no inputs mumble crashed. So that's better than a player crashing. As long as they were able to pause in a timely manner, this shouldn't hurt them too much.
Yeah, that's a good aspect as well. That actually, there we go. We've resumed again. Everyone has powered up the Mumble server, and we are back underway. And I'm going to stay firmly on the Lukey camp, see if we can find that pick. They will jump a soldier in, trying to get that force out of Morrow, but they won't find it, and they've lost 2 soldiers for that. So that's all their forcing power gone from this no input team.
Yeah, and we see the blue team are coming into this middle point. Of course, only 4 players still in this middle point. They're going to pop the Uber charge off. Actually, both of them are getting exchanged now. I heard a headshot ring out, but no frags went down, so they are forcing all of no input back out of the middle point onto their second. They didn't actually get any frags in that exchange. As I say that, Deox is going to get taken down by Idle in sewers. So other than that, though, no frags directly in that Uber charge, but they're going to get the point regardless.
It's a little bit of a shame. If they can get all these players healed up just a little bit quicker, I feel like they could have made a nice ballsy re-push there, kind of kept their respawn advantage alive, but instead they will opt to just give them the midpoint, play it slow. Again, 3v3 to 3 on this map so far, so both of these teams are feeling a little bit of pressure, a little bit of nerves almost.
Yeah, it is Shushu's bombing in. Not a great bomb by him. Deox was able to take down the soldier coming in through sewers. So with that, they can get a little more aggressive on the side of Deox fan club. They've been very slowly grinding away at this team. This is where the pause was, so not a hugely influential moment. So good thing there that nobody was super impacted. But we still see some spam going back and forth. I believe there's only like 4 minutes left on this clock, though, TurboTabs.
Yeah, and I mean, it could still go to a golden cap. I'd imagine we're still playing golden cap because in the end we need to find out who wins this map, and there's no draws, sadly. They have Sush up on Spy, and they're none the wiser to his shenanigans. So gonna keep my eye on him very closely, but he's going to need a bit of a distraction, I think, if he's ever going to make this play work. And usually when you're holding like this as a medic, you're not really standing still, revealing your back. You're kind of flopping about all over the place. So it's going to be very difficult for Shoes to make this happen.
Yeah, I'm watching Morrow, and he's spinning around a lot. I don't think they suspect the spy, but I think just general TF2 playing has trained him to not stand still.
Oh no, I've just learned Susha's female. Oh god, I just assumed somebody's identity, their gender. I can feel Tumblr.
Well, we'll apologize for that. We can, now that we know.
Tumblr SWAT team's gonna kick in my doors and have me check my privilege.
Well, she's in now, and she actually was getting Morrow to heal her for a little while, but with the stab in the end, and Yak was able to take down the spy.
Morrow's female, god damn, we're assuming everybody's identity wrong here.
Okay, that was not us. That was on our info feed then. TurboTabs, so we don't get blamed for that one. Poison gets bombed, taken down by Eames though, as he was trying to get on the second point. So Lukey's still on that sniper class, still going for these pot shots, but he's just really not hitting the shots he needs to.
Man, shaking my head, Gem. Why do you feed lies into me? I'm trying to watch the TF2 and you're too busy wondering who's the correct gender here. Anyway, this person here, Eames, on the choke, is just having a quick spam for now, allowing some little bit of room for this person, Callum, to come in, but he will get cleaned up by Scruff. It's very difficult to not say he and she. I'm just going to give this up right now.
Alright, Soldier Shoosh was actually bombing into that choke point, and he did go down, but he got some damage down. And Scruff is actually all the way in. Medic is forced to pop that one off. Martin had to pop the overcharge, so now they're trying to do their best push into this middle point. I mean, they do have that advantage, but no, they're deciding against it. They don't have any advantage to go with the supercharge, so now they're trying to still get a little bit aggressive, try to get the super force out of Morrow early, and she's going to pop that one off as they're running forward. If they can get some frags, this will be great for them, but they have to watch out for May, who's right in and out onto the medic. Morrow is going to be fine as Yak pipes that down that scout, and there's a lot of fighting going on all over the place. Lukey does die to Callum in the end, so no, not a pause. A little bit of a stutter, but we're fine.
Oh man, I've just pressed the Windows key at the worst opportunity. Quick, Cornpop, what's happening?
Well, they're kind of just sitting on the middle point at this point. Lukey's of course still down, but nothing crazy. He didn't miss anything extreme. The fight just sort of ended, so even Uber charges on both sides, but actually this could be a play coming out of the side of no input. They have a lot of players aggressive in IT, and they're going to just pop it off now, pushing forward with all their players, 4 of them running through this small choke point. And they're all over the place. A lot of Uber frags are going down now. 2 on the side, 3 and make that on the side of no input. This was not a success for them, but they're going to get the medic, and as long as they can keep Martin alive, this won't be a disaster. Martin solo and Poison's right on top of him. Gets it right as he dies. Oh, that's tragic because that almost worked for them.
And Martin was just being a little bit greedy there. And, oh, okay, well, round 1. Who cares? But, yeah, if Martin just didn't... Well, I guess there's no point really picking on him because in the grand scheme of things they won the round, so I don't think Martin Stay Alive would have miraculously turned that round around. So with 10 seconds left, the points will go to Deox Fan Club. So again, another going against the grain here. They win the opposing team's map.
Yeah. And so that means we're seeing a third map because obviously no input did win on product, so the last one is Gully Wash TurboTabs, and that one could be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be extremely interesting because now the motivation, the morale has kind of turned to the other side. So both teams are going to be tested a little bit in regards to just going into things feeling good. Whether or not DX Fan Club play off their emotions a little bit better compared to No Input, who must be feeling a little bit bummed out here. You had it. I mean, set up quite nicely for you. It was your map. You're feeling good from the first map as well. You just had to play things steady. You had things... it was a pretty close game as well, so you can't just write it off immediately. You're probably really kicking yourself over the tiniest mistakes at this point.
Especially because it was just in that last 30 seconds that they lost the point. I mean, if they had held out a little bit longer, if they had just played their cards a little bit better, a little safer... they could have forced that into a golden cap and it would be a whole clean slate, just whoever wins the next round. But that's not what happened. We're going over to Gully Wash, and I guess in a way it is a clean slate because it's one map that decided all.
I mean, the only ones that can make this a big deal now are the players themselves. If they're the ones that can just drop any sort of things that were bothering them from the previous maps. Maybe, of course, talk with your teammates, have an initial, like, what did you do wrong, maybe what we can do a little bit better into the next map. But, you know, still just not fester on the initial mistakes you've made too much and treat it like a whole new game going into the Gully Wash map. But I'm not sure if the logs are up on the stream already, but I've got them here ready and waiting. Just say the word, Cornpop.
I'm ready. I got them up as well, and I think the stream does too. So, yeah, what do you see interesting here? I noticed Deox is top fragging, but not by a ton.
Well, I'm going to go for the EP, the damage stat. And the first thing I'm seeing is Eames. He is laying a lot more damage into the enemy team compared to his Demoman compadre Yak. Again, just favouring the Demo matchup just seems to be a little bit stronger over on the no input side compared to the Deox fan club, but in the grand scheme of things, it maybe didn't matter too much as the score still played out to Deox fan club. But maybe going into this Gullywash map, a Dome Man could have a lot of say on these mid fights here at Cornpop, and when you've got Eames having a good time, maybe you're not feeling too good on the Deox fan club.
Yeah, it's surprising that they actually won that. Just looking at, if you were just looking at Yak's damage, I mean, it was a slow game near the end of it. I will concede that, but still, 167 on a Dome Man is not really what you want to be seeing, especially on a map like Process. I mean, there's a lot of Dome Man can be doing in these situations, but apparently just not getting the spam down, and his team won anyways, as you said, so it's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. The only scoreline that really matters to TurboTabs is the one at the top of the screen.
There's two factors I can maybe think about this being played into. I think one, Eames is getting a lot more Ubers compared to Yak. I mean, we've noticed this during some of the last pushes. Yak opting to stay out of the Ubers and they go with a double soldier Uber into a heavy, and whilst Eames is deciding to kind of hop into these Ubers a little bit more. And also factor number two is probably Yak is getting a lot of bullying at the start of these mids, and he's probably not getting a chance to lay out the damage because he's just waiting in line for the next crossbow. And they have been doing somewhat well on that. I'm surprised no input aren't capitalizing on that just a little bit more. You could see a lot of waiting for these crossbows on mid, and usually you just want to hop on these damage advantages as quick as you can. But again, we talked about them being a somewhat defensive team in our eyes, and maybe it's kind of biting them back a little bit. You could be defensive all you want, Cornpop, but defense is not going to get those rounds onto the board unless the team kind of gift it to you.
Exactly, and when we have such a high stake match like this, when you're playing for that final spot in the I-61 invite bracket, it's they're not going to be giving you rounds for free unless they really screw up somewhere. So obviously all teams going to be pulling their hardest here tonight. One last match, you got to clear your head for this one, I think, TurboTabs. Regardless of how that last one went, it was kind of slow at the end, and that can be bad for mental state, especially if you lose it, because there's kind of just a lot of grinding back and forth. You weren't really gaining or losing a ton of ground, and at the end, when it totally slips away from you, when you're so close to holding on, it's going to really hurt you. So you've got to be able to come into this match with a clean head.
Yeah, there's another little aspect that we don't really talk too much about in TF2 because we don't really get a best of three scenario every day, but fatigue kind of plays into these games as well. I know you kind of imagine these nerds sat at the computers like, how can they be tired? They're just pressing buttons, but it's a strain on the mind, Cornpop, where you're just playing these long, drawn-out games. You just want things to be finished. Your mom is probably banging on the door saying, son, why aren't you in bed? And you're like, sorry, mom, I'm trying to be a digital athlete right now. But yeah, it's got to be tearing on some of these players that, they haven't got the mental fortitude to kind of keep up these constant restrained gameplay going. So maybe that could play into it, but this could happen to anybody. There's no real test or way to find out who kind of does better in these scenarios apart from just good old-fashioned experience.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things I do like about European TF2 is because you're only playing a shorter amount of time on each map, the fatigue can be less of an impact, which I think is a good thing for the game. I remember the North American Grand Finals
I knew
last
you were going to bring
season.
that up. I was like,
Yep,
oh,
totally.
no.
7 hours long was not a fun time. It
The
was
Grand Detour
6 maps,
of TF2.
an hour each. Yeah. So
Man.
I'm fine. Personally, I'm fine casting for a couple more hours here, TurboTabs, but certainly, I mean, I'm not the one playing.
Yeah, just thinking about that is getting me tired. I need to get a water bottle stat. Anywho, Gullywash. Let's talk about Gullywash. Now, when I think Gullywash Cornpop, I think soldiers. I think roamers. I feel like roamers have a really great time on this map. This is a personal preference of mine as well, being a roamer. So we're going to be looking at, I believe it's Lucas or Poison. Maybe Poison's it's kind of one of those teams, actually, where they both have two roaming soldiers in a way. But yeah, we're going to be looking at Sush. We're going to be looking at Poison/Lucas. Who's been drawing your eye throughout these both of these matches here? Has anybody been kind of convincing you in their roaming role a little bit better than one another?
I think Poison has been hitting some great shots that I've been seeing. Just when he bombs it on the enemy team, he can really make stuff work, and he knows when to come in. But I think we're going live here, TurboTabs. So yeah, let's get excited.
Well, I'm going to get excited. I'm going to follow your statement. I'm going to watch the big man Poison and see what he can cook up in the kitchen for his team. So, I mean, he will arriving a little late compared to everybody else, and there we go. He's just actually playing up the basic pocket defense right now, laying a little bit of initial follow-up damage for his actual roamer, Lucas, and oh my god, it's going so much better for them, Cornpop. Look at that follow-up. That's double soldier bombs are working much nicer over on the side of Deox fan club, and maybe the 5 CP has converted quite nicely for them as they've got the first foothold on this map, and they've even got the second point as well, so looking very grim for no input, apart from the fact that they've got that uber advantage.
Yeah, and as they were running out of last back onto their seconds, Yak did get taken down, and now they're still aggressive. We see Lucas get a lot of damage put onto him by the Demo Man, and they've sort of pushed everybody back out through Big Door. They're going to get the frag on a Poison, so wish I hadn't said good things about him. But they've already forced them, all 5 players that are still alive, back onto the middle point, and they just muscle their way in here.
I know, a little strange. Usually when someone gets that hold on to second, it's very difficult to kind of claw it back, as well as Morrow didn't go down. She would have had that Uber kicking in just a couple of seconds later, so I'm surprised they didn't just held on to that point a little bit more, but no, playing things a little bit more safer. Decide to give it up to No Import, who do lose that on their own running soldier right now, but I don't see any sort of a major initiative coming out from Deox fan club. They're just kind of playing things safer now.
Yeah, they have a bit of an opportunity with that soldier jumping into them, but looks like they don't want to utilize it right now. They have a lot of players in Big Door though, and this could be dangerous if they manage to just sandwich in the enemy team. A lot of carnage could happen, but it's going to be Lucas jumping in onto the medic, gets that force off, exactly what he wanted to do. Callum dies in that as well, so it's a 5-on-5 still, and now they're going to pop their Uber charge off the blue team too, and it's much better for them. They do lose their scout. Deox goes down, and we still have May in behind up in River, going to be backing down now, finds a Demo Man, but has to dodge some pipes. So Shush and Idol went down in the midst of that, and that was really the big 2 frags that are going to allow them to take the second point.
It's a little bit shame what happened in lower lobby there. Yak did have Martin caught out just a little bit, but couldn't quite find the frag onto him in the end, and would have been almost curtains for this last defense if they could get that that medic pick as well. But CLRV, they will decide to run the sniper instead. Hopefully Lucas can play a bit more magic as he did. Oh, Deox, does he come back as spy, or is he just checking? Yeah, he's just checking things out. Oh well, he's come out, No spy checking today, class checking today. They will run the spy, and I think Deox is actually a Highlander pro on this spy here, so should be feeling very comfortable.
Well, the issue is they did check for it on the other side, so I think they know that there is a spy up trying to come into their last point. Yeah, we see Idols up on Pyro, but Callum and Poison both going to end up trading out here. Spy does not work when they know you're there and they have a Pyro, but Lucas is still up on Sniper, so I guess this is the pick that they're looking to get, but they have to back off for now as they're down 2 players.
I mean, they're still thinking about making a go of it. Eames is poking the front door, seeing if anybody's there, and he does catch a glimpse of that sniper, so probably not feeling too hot about going on it. They will dedicate 1 scout who's kind of snuck his way into from top side, and Yak will go down. That's a pick and a half, and they'll get the point as well. They can maybe take this fight straight into them. Oh, Eames is been cut off slightly, and they need to think about maybe a back cap here, so they need to back off on the side of Deox's fan club, and they've got May H is going aggressive. He got the force out on tomorrow, so they've got their own Uber. They will try and kind of get the force off. Poison throws himself in there, and he's kind of wrestling the back lines, but he will be wrestled back, and Martin will kind of puncture that mid hold from Morrow and Co. And it's getting a bit scrappy here. Scruff throws himself in there, so does Lucas as well, and I think somebody even found their way into second. Swoosh stays alive during all that fighting onto second. It's an absolute bloodbath here. There's still a forward respawn happening during all of this because they still haven't capped the goddamn point, Cornpop.
Oh my gosh, that was just so much chaos going around that just choke area. Almost everybody died on the side of the Deox fan club, and so they're not going to have this middle point to hold on to. But It is even Uber charges, which is a big deal because it means that nobody's going to get rolled straight in through unless they lose a lot of players. Deox is spawning on Sniper though, and so I think that's going to be their key there. He's in Big Door now, taking a peek, but he gets jumped by a soldier and is forced to surf out.
Yeah, just going to get a nice little buff, as any good sniper would do. And he just keeps changing doors, keeping them on the toes on the side of no input. But can't really seem to find a target right now. Just has to play extremely patiently.
Well, Eames pokes him. He's attempting that sight line. They should know. I mean, if they saw a sniper, they should know he's there now. But I don't know. It's really what no input want to do, how they want to respond to the sniper. It is still 0-0, remember, on this clock, or on the score line. There we go. Callum does get sniped. So that's something. That's a soldier going down. A pocket soldier is a big deal, but not really something they can push off unless they can get a little aggressive and get some more damage or picks.
Oh, he's getting a sideline onto the medic almost there. He knows he's hanging about an elbow, but clips a scout instead. Oh, it's hotting up here at choke, but I guess almost the irony of running a sniper like this is when you do get that one pick, the sniper isn't really too good at pushing, so it almost feels like a 5v5 you're going into. So you really want to get a massive pick if you want to make these pushes work with a sniper on your team. So a demoman, a medic would be nice. You know, maybe a nice carry player on the enemy team that you think very highly of. And Swoosh will go down. Swoosh, swoosh. I've been butchering that name all night. And
Deox was actually poking in through Big Door, but he could actually get a sightline on Martin. Now Martin's peeking around those boxes. He's gonna actually just hit Eames, who is jumping forward and doesn't get necked on the frag either. So Poison does eventually go down in Big Door. Idle pistols him down, and this is gonna be ball back in no inputs court. They do have Shush on Sniper now though.
Yep, just playing it a long tactical game. It's turned from a fast-paced shooter to a nice game of tactical chess, 4D chess in TF2. Only 6 pieces of police, and they can respawn. That would make chess interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure it would make it any good, but
maybe a bit chaotic, but yeah, I'm just saying it's a Thinking's Man game right now.
Yes, very much so, and it's really on the snipers at this point. Shush is peeking around in through Big Door. Deox is over by Choke, so they're not going to be looking at each other, but Lucas has got to watch his head right now. And Deox actually might have a nice sightline up onto that kind of ramp area, so I don't know, they're really just waiting for somebody to get a pick, and then they can start moving.
Yeah, he's really banking. Oh, he almost gets Swoosh. He was trying to counter-snipe him from that corner there, but he's read his mind, and he's getting a bit more confident now that he's landing shots like that. It's nice as a sniper when you get some of these nice little shots here and there. You kind of fills your confidence going for these ballsier shots, but still not quite coming up trumps as he was expecting. Oh, another little sniper off, but they will keep changing doors in good fashion, and still none of these snipers are finding each other, and they will find the Demoman instead. That's a nice pick for them to kind of make a push here, but they might be feeling a little bit sheepish about making a push with a sniper, especially with Swoosh as a sniper himself on the enemy team.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have liked to see them go, but okay, they get another one on Idle. Poorly timed because Eames has just spawned back up. Callum is going to bomb forward, and the Uber charges are going to get exchanged over in Choke now. So Uber players running around Ubered players are not able to get any frags just yet in this small choky area. And we might just see a reset at the end of this TurboTabs. I think neither team wants to continue in the post-Uber fight. There are a couple of blue players in Big Door, and Lucas took a lot of damage on 2 HP right now, but he safely makes it back to his team, and we're back at a standstill.
Yes, the old... Oh, another snipe onto the sniper. So finally, Swoosh can breathe a sigh of relief as he can have a little bit more freedom in his sniping ways, and decides to take it Big Door. And oh, he's got a sideline onto Morrow, sorry, and doesn't quite find the pick, but with every shot he misses, he inches a little bit closer. He's laying some damage onto Yak, and the grip is tightening from the side of no input. Oh, he tries to make a turnaround snipe on the Deox, but will clean him up instead, and it's actually a pincer maneuver coming out from Deox fan club instead. Morrow will pop off a Uber, but manages to find Deox, and Deox uses that to take out Eames. and it's a bit of a shambles for no input.
Oh my god, I'm so surprised May actually didn't get that frag. Right, you need to hit one shot on tomorrow, but I think he beefed it and ended up getting taken down, so they're going to get this middle point off, and they're going to keep their medic alive as well.
Again, look, they are pressing the advantage. They have got the tiniest uber advantage, but they don't know that on the side of no input, so they'll start making their way forward, taking out a few idle players here and there who are trying to kind of threaten Morrow's life.
Yeah, they're going to get the second point, so Deox, they could be looking to get the first round on the board, just under 20 minutes remaining in this map, so we've gone through over 10 at this point, and it's still 0-0. Idle's coming up on heavy to try to negate any incoming push. It probably won't come immediately. They don't really have any sort of an advantage, but they could send some soldiers in. This is a popular point for snipers. Well, they're going to just go off of it, it seems. I'm not sure what they're going for, but they're going to try to force the enemy team uber charge off, and Morrow's really caught out. She's not going to survive this. Gets juggled. Okay, I'm a liar. She runs straight through Shutter, but Lucas is up behind the enemy team point. Hit a nice direct onto the scout, but he's going to be forced back off that point from the Netman, and now they're re-pushing after the post-uber fight, and this is going to be really big. Morrow again very low, but it doesn't matter because they just had so much damage in that post-uber.
Yeah, big play coming out from Lucas there, taking a player off the board, drawing their eyes to the point as well, kind of tearing their attention in two, makes it a bit difficult to watch the front line, and they abused that over on Deox fan club. They just all started riding in there, focusing fire some of these players, and they were all busy reloading as well as they were trying to defend the point as well, so big plays by Lucas there.
Yeah, I was a little worried with that one, but oh my god, Eames going down extremely early to the stickies of Yak, and that's going to be a big, big deal. But it doesn't matter, they're getting the frag so far. May's putting in the work, got two quick shots down onto the enemy team's soldiers, so they're both down, but now we see a lot of the hurt coming down from the blue team's player. They're going to lose their demo man, but it's a 2-on-2. One of them's a medic on this side of Deox fan club, and they're going to end up backing off to their second point. Almost won that one, but not quite, as no input are going to take this mid.
And the confidence isn't quite as high for Deox fan club. It was a scout medic, I guess, duel that could have happened on that mid, but Morrow, she was out, she was gone. She did not want a part of that that little ulti-duo fantasy, so they will give up the mid fight. They're losing a bit of players stray here because they weren't holding close into that choke, and it allowed their flank to kind of get flanked themselves on this big door area, and they're even getting pressured up top as well. It will keep Morrow alive, however, and they have got that safety net of the Uber, but you're losing a lot of players and a lot of ground and position. They could probably just push into this last for free if they didn't lose that scout.
Yeah, they are looking to get into it. They've gotten pretty aggressive, but I think they have thought better of it now. They've gotten a lot more passive. Watch out for Lucas, because he is flanking behind, but he's been seen now, and May's going to end up getting the final frag out of him, so can't do any sneaky flank plays this time. If they were a little more aggressive, that could have worked out for him, but not this time, it seems. Idles are coming up on Sniper, though, to look to make an entrance.
Alright, we've seen plenty of those YouTube clips getting the Sniper into the position on that little, I guess, riverside, jumping up onto the shutter door. But he's just opting for the lower side now, seeing if he won't find the medic pick there, but maybe he can find a pick onto the demo man or something along those lines, maybe just like a damaging class. He will kind of try and bully Lucas back, and they defuse the sticky trap that was laid to them by Yak. So there we go, here's the power position for the Sniper, pressures the demo man, kind of pushes them all closer to the doors over on the side of Deox fan club, and right now you can already see Yak is prioritizing that the Sniper cannot get on that little lip of the door that allows him to get the shot on tomorrow. So yeah, it's just a nice little mind games here between both of these teams.
Yeah, it's a very difficult and quick shot you have to make if you can jump onto that shutter, but you'll go down in frag video history, and here's a kind of variation of it. He's going to jump down, but not landing on the shutter, crossing through that sight line once again, unharmed back to his team. There's a counter sniper in the form of Lucas, who's looking to shut down the sniper threat, but isn't able to do it just yet, still poking back and forth. They're shooting at each other, but nobody's hit any kills just yet. Callum is in and looking for something, but bombing into a heavy is not going to be great. Poison goes to the counter sack, doesn't get anything either.
Yeah, I can see why not Poison, Callum went for that play. Usually the sniper can kind of herd all the enemy team into a nice awkward position, makes it very prime for the roaming soldier to go in, get that little play onto the medic, but doesn't quite find it because they did decide to run the Natasha over. Is it Natasha or?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's Natasha.
Yeah, they're running the Natasha heavy, so really prioritising that they're disabling these jumps rather than actually equalising out the damaging fights. So they will lose Deox, however. So it makes these defense just a little bit harder. Oh, drop!
There it is. Callum goes in and gets Morrow and Poison. That was a huge play by the soldier. Now it's going to be extremely hard to hold on at this point. They're going to be coming into it, just popping the Uber charge off now. Milk for quite a long time. That heavy going down as soon as it gets popped off. We hear a horn being played as well. I'm not sure it's going to matter too much. They're going to win that point and tie it at 1.
I mean, it's nice to see that they've got a backup plan, a plan B, but plan A just worked so well that they didn't. Plan B was just the victory lap.
Absolutely. So tied up once again, just over 13 minutes on this clock. So still some time to play with, but the match is over halfway done. And we are tied at 1. Lucas is going to be going to the enemy team's drop down. And actually, Shush as well as position himself like that. But Lucas actually comes up behind a scout and taking a little bit too much damage. Poison's the first one to go down in the midst of this. Lucas does get the trade with May, so that's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's something, and he's not just feeding his life away. They're losing Deox as well, though. They have to back off, and this is not going to be their mid.
Feels like a little bit of a communication error coming out from Deox and co. Some of the players wanted to stay in mid, some of them wanted to back out, and sadly the ones that wanted to stay in mid kind of got the rough end of the stick. Deox got minced, and from there they've had enough confidence over on their input to just sail it all the way onto second. And as they're trying to push them out of that top area now, but they're probably going to get this cat point. I don't know what Poison is trying to do, but he kind of throws himself to the wolves there. And he's going to make this last defense even harder for poor Yak.
Yeah, they're popping it off now, and there's 3 players trying to defend this. Respawn's coming pretty soon, so if they can stall it out long enough, this could be a fight that they can win, but May was on that point for so long, and nobody was able to contest them. So now going up 2-1, it seems. No input are taking the lead.
I mean, you've got to be feeling pretty cocky if you feel like you can jump into 5 players there as a roaming soldier and feel like you can pick out the medic all by your lonesome. I know you were kind of down a little bit on the player side of things, but you know, I think a 3-man defense is a lot more value, I think, than just the one roaming soldier bomb in.
For sure. Now we're going to see this next mid fight is the 4th one of the game, and Deox is actually running pretty aggressive onto Martin, got him down to about half health, but in the meantime Morrow did go down to a nice bomb from Shush, also got scruffed with that, and everybody has died. Martin got down pretty low, but it doesn't matter, there's nobody to follow it up.
Nice reactive TF2 coming out from no input there. They're just almost meals on wheels on the side of Deox fan club as they just throw themselves in, and the scouts are doing a wondrous job of just cleaning up them up in midair and kind of kiting them around the midpoint of the map. Maybe it's time to kind of change up the strategy on the side of Deox fan club for these mids.
Yeah, they've got 3 defensive off classes for this last point hold. The Engineer, Pyro, and Heavy are all up. So they really want to hold on to this point. Obviously they do. We'll see though, they are at an uber disadvantage, 50% right now, and I expect to see them coming through Shutter. There is stickies here, and they're going to get blown back, so that makes the uber a little less valuable, and now here comes the Pyro, blasting back the Demo Man, it seems. There still is the Scout May, and she's going to get onto the point, standing on it for a long time before Poison finally takes him down. There's a medic v medic battle actually happening, and Morrow's going to get an uber saw at the end of that. They're standing on the point now, and they're getting all these frags, only Martin staying alive on 20 HP. TurboTabs, they managed to hold that beautifully.
Man, that was such clutch coming out from the rest of Deox fan club there. It was kind of a bit of a drop ball from Lucas. It wasn't paying attention to the right door. Maybe things weren't being communicated to him as well, which door they were pushing from. I mean, you've got a window. You should know that they're pushing from that shuttered door. So he was a little bit slow off the mark. Only managed to trap the Demo Man in, and it allowed the medic and the soldier to kind of roam forth a little bit. Even the scouts must have felt a little love from that Uber that got in. But it's a good job that when it comes down to it, they can kind of clutch things out and bring it from the brinks.
I don't think it's going to matter too much. It is 100% Uber charge advantage from Martin now. And I mean, they had 50 last time, but they're going to lose Deox, and Lucas is going to have that respawn. They have a second attempt here, TurboTabs. They're rushing in. They're going to get Yak down very early and get that point time onto it, making it 3-1. They're just extending their lead. In this point, you've got to be wondering what's happening in the head of Deox fan club.
A lot of power has been given to no input here. With 10 minutes left on the clock and a nice 2-round buffer between the scoreboard, you can kind of dictate the pace of the game. And if you're following by Headmaster Cadus's rulebook, if you've got an advantage like this, you should never be able to give it up. You can maybe even go about playing a little bit more passively on this mid, just making sure you're not throwing away the round. And they are throwing away the round so far. They've lost their demo man at the start of this fight. They can kind of just balls to the wall it from here. Oh god, what a turnaround from no input there. These little skirmish fights, these 1v1s, draw it up a lot closer than it needs to be, and they've got a scout up in the field, and they've only got poor little Yak. He will have to be pushed out of the mid, sadly, and we all know these tail end fights for the scouts will always rule supreme.
Yeah, Yak's not going to have a good time going up against a soldier and a scout with heals, so he's forced to back off with his medic to that second point. But the with the medic is a really important part there, because now that they're both up, they're not going to get rolled straight back to last, because a 3-1 is bad, a 4-1 is worse. But it's still, as you said, a very strong position from no input, because now that they're holding this middle point, they can do what they want, and it seems like they're going to send in their roaming soldier on tomorrow, but does get taken down by the stickies. It was a good jump in, but couldn't find the frag, and now Deox is going down under.
Has he been spotted though? He has. I see a shot his way. Actually, no, that was his own scout. That was his own scout. He's got the jump onto Martin. Martin's been forced out. This is a dreadful Uber. Now they have to just try and pick up the pieces with this Uber. And Eames went in, but he was the only one that went to back. Oh my god, did Callum just land that shot? That was insane.
Oh my god, the drop on tomorrow. Callum bombs in, hits the air shot, and that completely turns things around. Now the soldiers are sacking. Lucas and Poison both trying to get on that medic frag, but Martin is full HP, and Yak and Scruff both go down as well. TurboTabs, that is how you turn a bad situation into a good one.
I can't believe that actually worked. It looked like such a dreadful Uber, but he got, what, it must have been just 2 rockets alone, and he was just enough. And what a turnaround here. You can see it also dictated in the gameplay, as they have got a nice Uber advantage for this last push. It looks like they're trying to line up the final nail for this coffin, and they're all just about ready to hammer it in. They've got the Uber, they've popped it off now. They've got to rely on this Lucas Pyro to do a lot of work here. He does a decent amount, but it wastes a lot of just pressure, or like, I guess, focus on the side of no input, but they've got so much to spare. It's 4-1, the gap widens, Cornpop.
7 minutes left on that clock. If you're the Deox fan club, you have to get 3 rounds in that time. Not impossible, but not gonna be fun for you. You have to really keep your pedal to the metal.
Everyone in Twitch chat, put your hands together, you know, pray to your bite overlords and your bite god to hope that they can bring out some TCM rounds 3 times in a row, maybe, to kind of turn things around. They need to make a Hail Mary of a mid to kind of turn it around, but it's not going well. They're just making trades so far, and that's just not good enough for this scoreline. They will even lose out on that mid as well, so this gap might even get larger, Cornpop.
Yeah, I think realistically that might be the nail in the coffin for them. Yak is still being pressured in.
Oh my god,
dies,
disrespect!
Even Morrow is in danger here of going down. Thankfully, Lucas is able to land that rocket, so it's not going to be an Uber advantage. Scruff is all over the enemy team, but he's on solo HP, does get taken down by the medic Martin with that crossbow. So, yeah, I think at this point it's basically over. They certainly... maybe not so. At this point, it's really tough. And even just mentally, they've got to be slipping just thinking about it. They've got to work so hard to win this, if it's even possible at this point. If they cap this one off, it's going to be a disaster. Callum jumps in, trying to get the force off on Amaro, doesn't quite get it, but now the other soldier is in as well. Shush is onto that point, being chased down by Deox though, and he's going to be fighting him here under the point. He had that skill stick out, but Deox was able to take him down at the end, so at least they managed to defend off that one, but they still have a lot of work to do.
I like what they're doing on the side of Deox fan club though. They're playing to win, they're going aggressive, they're not just waiting idly by at the last point, letting the time dictate the the ending for this match. They're going to go aggressive, force the wall, trying to just claw back any possibility of this game happening, but it's just such a uphill climb for them, Cornpop. It's just so sad to see. I mean, no team could really pull this off, but they're still giving it a try, you know?
Yeah, I don't know at this point. I mean, especially with the Uber disadvantage, Morrow doesn't have it. Martin's at about 85%. I mean, they could play it safe, but honestly, at this point, they don't even need to. There's 4.5 minutes left on this clock. I expect they're going to want to get another round on the board, but they're getting kind of aggressed on. Now they're forced to pop the Uber charge off in not a fantastic position, but still they're in on last. And it looks like Eames and Martin are going to get on this point. It's only Morrow actually back here to stop them and making it 5-1. GGs are coming out from the players in the chat. So, 4.5 minutes. I think this is what the Europeans call garbage time.
Yes, sadly, we do not do the first to 5 rule over in Yankee Town. We have to just watch them as they just squirm about. You know, make them. This is almost the penalty for losing here. Is these agonizing minutes where they just have to look at the scoreboard and realizing that they can't bring this back, no matter how much they try. But maybe they can make it look good for the logs, Cornpop.
That's what they're playing for at this point, and they're going to get poisoned down pretty early with the trade and 1-for-1 of that. Lucas is bombing in on the enemy team, but can't quite get anything now. Got some damage, but they're losing all their players. Deox, he might be able to win 1v1 against Idle here, but gets piped down by a nice shot from Eames. It's only Morrow. If he can get this frag, chance at redemption. He's just playing with them now. Oh no, they're done. They're talking about Seawit Land, congratulating them, and this is the game.
That is the game. Valve, please, where is our surrender button? Where is our GG out? As they will, I guess, just take it, sail it all the way to the last point over on the side of no input. You know, just putting us and the viewers out of our misery. But all I do in these little moments like this, Cornpop, is just reflect what could they have done better. Maybe what could have maybe changed the outcome of this entire match.
I don't know. I think Gullywash just wasn't their map. I mean, on Viaduct or Product, they were able to kind of secure a win because it was sort of different from all the other maps. Obviously, it's King of the Hill. But when we came to these 5CP maps, Input won. Did Input win the Viaduct match?
They won the Product one, yes.
Yeah, okay, so I'm full of crap. Input did come out and they played just way better on this one, despite losing on the Process match. The Process one was so close, and the first one, the Viaduct match, was so close as well, but this one was not even close to the same story. I think they did prove they were the better team, though, and I'm really excited to see them on LAN. I
mean, I've got the logs here, and I feel like I'm just going to be repeating myself here, Cornpop, but the differences in demo men,
yeah,
I think are just maybe the prime reason. I think Input were having a nicer time on these mids, and it might be down to Eames just playing off, setting up these initial damage for the mid, or securing their positions just a little bit better. Maybe the strategy wasn't fully worked out, or it wasn't maybe... There wasn't too much adaptation, I guess, towards the tail end of the map. I mean, they didn't really get too much of a chance either. I think by the time they realising the aggressive play wasn't working against no input, they didn't have enough rounds in the game to kind of change it around. But yeah, that's the big one that I see here. That's just the difference between these two teams. Maybe, actually, the medic one as well is pretty big.
Yeah, I was just going to point that out. 3 deaths to 9, Morrow tripling the deaths of Martin, so that's going to be a big problem. Obviously, that happens in a 6-1, but...
I mean, this could also... It can't just be the medics. You realise that the medics also have to like die on these last pushes as well, so maybe it's difficult to tell, but... yeah, that's the nature of logs. You can get a lot of stats, but you don't really know which of the stats are just like the padded out stats or the really important stats. But it's nice to see. It's nice to point out the fact that Callum got 5 air shots throughout that entire game. He was having a pretty fun game.
Oh yeah, I was going to point out Callum as well. He was having a stupendous game, especially that bomb where they managed to come in and air shot drop the medic. That one was so huge. And just all around, he top damaged the server with 320, so a very respectable top damage there from him. Great game all around. I mean, when you look at the stats of a 6-1, it's always going to look dominating, but still, they did a great job.
It does kind of throw it up in the air as well that we kind of wondered and and ahed over why is Lucas playing so much sniper, and it might be because his roamer's not feeling too hot. I mean, I bigged up the roamer on this map, man. This is their map, I said. This is the one that they get to just really express and be creative or enjoy themselves if it's anything to go by. And Lucas was just not having that map. Could only find 8 kills, got 17 deaths himself. His damage was that of doing a bit poorly compared to his rival, Sush. But, yeah. Maybe it could be a lot of things. I think there's no one person to blame over on the side of Deox fan club.
I would totally agree. I think all around their team just... I don't even know if it was a coordination issue. It's just as like individually they all seemed to be weaker. On this map, I mean, the last 2 maps that was not the case, but on this map, they all individually seemed to be weaker than their counterparts, despite maybe a few differences, but really... they were the stronger team, no input were, and yeah, I think they deserve the win. And do we have an interview? I think we do.
We have one, but one person has come to an interview, and here is that one person. Here is that 2 person. They're multiplying, Corn.
Yeah, I got reinforcements.
I got brought along.
All right, Cornpop, you're the play-by-play. You take the lead on this interview.
Well, first of all, congratulations, guys. You just made it into the invite bracket at I61. How excited are you for that?
Ecstatic, to be honest with you. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, we were gonna play on I61, whatever was gonna happen, but it's gonna be fun against good teams. I mean, great teams, I guess.
Yeah, and you're gonna be on the big stream too.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of advantages to this. We can talk a little about that game. I mean, the first 2 maps seemed much more back and forth than this last one, especially. Was there anything you noticed specifically in your play or your opponents that happened in between that second and third map? Was it just the fatigue? Was it that maybe you weren't playing how you usually, or they weren't playing how they usually do? Or do you think maybe the maps were a big factor to that?
Definitely maps. Like, concerning process, we just couldn't deal with the sniper very well in stalemates, because when we were on holding second or holding last, we just had to deal with Lucas constantly sniping, which is like active, and when you're holding last, you can't really do anything. But on Gully Wash, like, there's not many sniper lines. It's very easy to deal with. Same on product, like, you can just jump the sniper constantly. Makes it easy.
Yeah, I also feel like we got into our game and like Gully Wash somewhere halfway through. Yeah, and we started sort of rolling, I guess. We warmed up.
I've got to ask, guys, at what point during this entire match did you think, okay, we've got this now, it's in the bag? Was it at just when you picked the maps, or was it maybe after you beat them on their first map? Where did you feel like you had the game in the bag?
For me, it was definitely after we won product, because process was actually like a really close game, even though it was our pick, but we managed to 3-1 them a product, which was their map, so we felt pretty good at that point. But we just needed to step up our game on Gully Wash and stop this sniping stalemate issue that we had.
Yeah. Like, winning products, I don't think product is like one of our good maps, so winning that was really good. But I felt like a little demotivated after playing the process game, especially since we sort of threw in the last like minute.
We didn't even see the time. It was honestly really, really bad.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, this wasn't just a match between you two. This was almost like a little mini showcase for everybody out there. And I've got to ask, is this like were you guys firing on all cylinders? Were you playing 100% gameplay, or do you think you have a bit more in you?
I think we have a bit more in us, to be honest. We haven't managed to scrim for like a whole 2-3 weeks, because Eames has been on holiday, and then I've been working like night shifts and stuff. But we managed to play over the past 3 days, and this is where we're at now. So hopefully over the next couple of days before then, we can slam out some scrims.
Yeah, hopefully.
Confirm it for us, guys. Is this the full lineup here that we're looking at? There's no mercs, no No strange little characters that have made their way into this game tonight.
No, this is the full lineup.
Yes.
Excellent. Now, are you guys hyped about playing in the LAN setting? Has anybody played at LAN before?
I've never played before. I've never took my PC before. I've been, but never played. It's going to be, especially in an invite group, it's going to be pretty adrenaline pumping.
Yeah, it's really exciting, but also kind of scary, I guess. I've been to LANs before, but never really played, so yeah, gonna be the first.
Who's going to choke at LAN, guys? Is there going to be anybody? Who are you predicting?
Probably
In our
Nunya.
team or like, yeah, Nunya, I guess. Maybe.
Our team
How about you guys? Anyone going to choke at LAN? Anybody feeling the nerves already?
Definitely me. I already had, my heart was already beating before this game. Like, I don't know how I'm going to be at LAN with everyone spectating and stuff, you know.
No, man, you've got LAN rockets. You're going to feel like you've got superpowers rushing through your veins.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
I mean, we don't really have anything to prove. Like, I don't go into the LAN expecting to win, so there's not that much pressure, I guess.
Underdog story. That's good.
Yeah, so it's yeah, it's just gonna be a lot of fun, I think. And choking shouldn't matter.
Have you guys got anything cooked up, especially for 7 or Antic? You will be playing in Group A, so have you got any plans or maybe some sort of cheese strats you need to be worried about?
We're definitely going to have to do some map talks over the next few days, but we've actually been playing pretty well on Antic and some maps. We haven't played against 7 yet, so we'll see how it goes. We'll have to do some map talks because we haven't managed to so far.
Mm-hmm.
All right, just to bring it back to the game just one last time. I'm curious to see how much of the maps do you think played a part into tonight's game? Were they crucial that these maps were played tonight to declare this victory, or do you think it would have been comfortable no matter what map were played?
Yeah, maps definitely, right?
Yeah, we definitely had like a lot of luck for getting Gulliwash and Process, which are both like our good maps, I guess. And Viaduct was sort of a wild card. We didn't want to play Badlands, Reckoner, or Granary whatsoever, but turned out really well for us.
All right, I've scratched all my itches. How about you, Cornpop?
Yeah, no, I think you pretty much hit the mark there, TurboTabs.
Thanks, buddy. Do you want to close us out?
Yeah, sure. I'll just say thanks everybody for tuning in. We now know the full roster of the invite teams at I61. We know, of course, today no input did make their way in. They'll be joining 7, Lowpander, and Antic in Group A, and in Group B, Swift, Ascent.eu, Nunya, and Weed Tunnel Tactics will be competing at the event as well. So be sure to tune into that one. It is next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's the 25th, 26th, and 27th. So that'll be right here on Essentials.tf. Does anybody have any shoutouts before we want to head out?
Shout out to Panda, because that's the one that asked me to do it, but that's about it.
Shout out to Equal and our team, of course. And,
Alright.
and the opposite team, of course. They played really well.
Oh, it's good to see some sportsmanship. Well, thanks everybody for coming out, and we will see you, I guess. Do you know, TurboTabs, are there any more cups or anything happening? I think there... I don't know. I should not have been given this job, because I don't know what's coming up next. But
I think it's going to be just the calm before the storm at this point. It's just land on the horizon. I can hear Gemm is pressing buttons in the background, but I can't see that information, so... There's a podcast! There's a podcast tomorrow! How could we forget Cornpop?
Well, I watched the last one, actually, and it was a lot of juicy details that get announced in podcasts, so be sure to check those out.
Alright, is that it? Is that the closeout?
Yeah, I think so. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Buy me bail,